Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Mick's Prop Shop. I'm Mickey, and today on this episode we're going to be painting this 3D print I did a while ago that I've been dying to paint rather. It's already printed. This was a pretty long print for my printer. I think it took about 24 hours, but it came out fairly well because I don't have a very fancy printer or a high-ticket one. It's a Ender 5 Pro, which is like an introductory level printer, but I got it for free. So I cannot complain at all, especially when it comes out with stuff like this, which I think came out pretty good for the printer itself. So I'm gonna get this painted up today. It's a Stormtrooper helmet, obviously, where the blown outside, you can see a skull in there. So we're gonna give this a cool weathered paint job, make it look like a beat up Stormtrooper helmet, and try to get some aging on that skull too. I don't think I'm going to do much sanding on this, but I think I'm going to do a little sanding on the skull to hide some of the printed lines. The helmet itself, the lines aren't that bad, so I'm not too worried about that. I think the primer I have, which isn't necessarily a filler primer, but I think the primer plus a couple coats of paint will fill in those lines, so that's not going to be too bad. But there's some pretty strong lines on the eyes here where it's rounded from the printer that I'm going to try and sand down a little bit. So let's grab some sandpaper and start sanding. Okay, grab some 120 grit. Yeah, 120 grit. So I'm going to start with it, maybe go up to a 220 and see how it goes. But I'm just going to try to get around the eyes because that's where it seems to be the worst on the skull. Yeah, right around that area is mainly what I'm worried about. And you should be doing this in like a well-ventilated area, probably wearing a mask, but it's not going to be a ton of sanding, so I think we'll be okay for this one. Already looking a little better to me as far as lines go, so just gonna give that, get a little more here, and I think that's pretty much the only spot I'm too worried about. And like I was saying, this print came out pretty well. The only problem was right here, it got a little funky because I didn't do it with any supports, and it came out pretty well with no supports. So, but right here it got a little squirrely, but I think it's still okay. Okay, so I did a little bit more sanding than I thought I was going to do, but I found a few more spots that I thought I could numb up the printing lines, like this area here, got a little more around the eye, closer to the teeth here, and I tried my best to get rid of the Z line here that ran from here to here, which looks like I got most of it. We'll see after sanding, or after the first coat of primer here. And I'll show you the primer. Nothing special, it's a Rust-Oleum, which is a decent brand, but it's just a white primer, which I thought would be okay for this, but yeah, I think it'll be fine because the helmet's already white, so I might just leave the helmet the color of the primer and work around that and paint the skull black. And well, let's go get this primed. We got to clean it off, get it dust off, and get it cleaned off with some alcohol. So you don't want any reactions with the primer, but I'm pretty happy with, but we got it mostly sanded where we needed it. So rounded off these areas here a little bit better. Just tried to make it seem like the rounded areas was where the printer struggled the most. So I tried to just numb up the rounded areas and give them that little bit more of a rounded look. So let's get to the primer after well, let's clean it up, then we'll get to the primer. Welcome to the swamp, aka my backyard. or back porch rather, because we want to do this in a well-ventilated area. Got the Rust-Oleum 2x cover, 2x ultra cover. Wow, alright. Just gonna do a quick light coat. Mostly dusted off there, so just gonna do it quick. Look out, Bo. Look out. This will also help give me a better idea of what we need to do sanding wise too, I think. It's definitely making some of those lines pop a lot more. So let that dry for a minute. Okay, so here we have it after about 4 coats of the primer. It's the next day. Took a while to dry. Still a little tacky actually, but it's good enough to paint on, I think. So sorry about the sound. I'm doing a print right now. So yeah, I might do a voiceover, we'll see. But we're gonna get moving along on this. I think what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna paint this skull black. Give it a nice base coat of black, and then give it a brownish color after that. But let's get it painted black. Got the apple barrel black, so with a nice little coat of black. Okay, there it is with a little bit of black on it. Probably do 1 or 2 more coats, and then I'll start weathering the skull. Because when I paint certain things, I like to start from the inside out. Like if it's a sculpture of a person, I like to start with the skin. You know, it's like paint it as you would dress. You know, start with your skin and then work on the clothes. So I'm going to start with the skull and get to the helmet. So stay tuned. And while that's painting, I figured I might as well paint some of the parts of the helmet that are black also, like this part here, and a couple other places. So let's go ahead and do that. try a different angle here so you guys can see a little bit better. Here we got, did the eyes a little bit. It still needs another coat probably, and some of the other black areas need some touching up. But now we're gonna do the skull a little bit more here. We're gonna try a little bit of this brown, but it's not quite the color I'm liking. I don't have the color I'm like seeing in my head. So I'm gonna see if I can make it with a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. Some apple barrel, bright yellow, and folk art raw sienna. Hopefully I have enough of this to make it work. Let's see here. I'm just gonna use up the rest of this. Ew. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna get that little bit of yellow in there. So I don't want to be too thick with this coat, so just kind of want to, like a dry brush, but a little more than a dry brush. Just want it to go a little thicker. It'll work. Oops. I don't think I'll do two coats of this because I don't want full coverage of this. I just kind of want to get this blended in with the black, kind of. Again, I don't care if I get it on the helmet just yet because I can touch it up later, or just gonna move it around and make it look weathering because we are gonna weather the helmet later. Okay. A little more section of skull here. We'll let that dry a bit and see if I can touch it up a little bit. Okay, while we wait for the brown to dry a bit, I'm gonna fill these little, I don't know, air vents or whatever they are, but in most of the pictures I see they're like a bluish color. I picked out sky blue, but it seems like it should be a little darker, but I think I'm gonna go with the sky blue. Yeah, so take a little bit here. Not too much, as usual. So I'll take a small bristle brush and try to get it up in here best as I can. did a little trying to see what I'd look like on this small spot in the back here. Used a bit of this toasted marshmallow apple barrel, which is kind of fitting because this guy's definitely toasted. But let's see here if I can get some better lighting over here. I got a bit of the toasted marshmallow. I'm just gonna get most of it wiped off here, and then we'll go with it. Basically a dry brush. And I think I'm gonna go over this. I'm gonna take the brown that I still have left from this first layer, and I'm gonna add more yellow to it and maybe do a wash with that. We'll see. I'm just kind of experimenting here. I'm not an expert. I've never claimed to be. I just like to paint and have fun. So, we'll see what we get. For the cheap ass paintbrushes, leaving bristles on it. I don't like it. Okay, so let's try and brush some of that off, make it a little more subtle. This is a makeup brush I stole from my woman. So there's that. And I think after that I'm gonna give it a wash of. See if I can scrape up some of this black or brown. Get it into the palette. Scrapey. And add some isopropyl alcohol to that. And see what we come up with. Oh, that was smooth. Yeah, good job, buddy. Alright, let's see. I'm just gonna mix this. You. Ooh, yeah, that's kind of nice actually. Would like it to be a bit more yellowish. Something else a little too thick, so I'm gonna add a little more alcohol. And I still managed to spill it. Oh well, it'll dry fast. Excuse my desk clutter. I think. Oh, so let's give that a run. Oh, lovely. Don't do what I just did. Because I was just talking about desk clutter. Now my desk is sanitized. So that's good. Let's try that again. Okay, so now I'm gonna finish up the details on the helmet. After I finish that up and touch up some of these spots here, we'll start weathering the helmet. So let's do it. And for these parts, I don't know, like the earpiece and this vent here is gray, and so is this piece. But these kind of have like a black border, so I think, I don't know if I'm going to start with the black. Well, I'll do the gray first and do the black after. Pretty light gray, so definitely gonna have to put a couple coats of this on there, nice and get it layered. But as I'm mishandling it, like I shouldn't be, getting the wet paint from this onto that, but it kind of works for the weathering. So just gonna roll with it. So it's gonna take it. And I'm gonna do silver for these because they're like microphone speakers. Take this little guy. And now I'm just gonna touch up some of these areas with the white. Try to cover up some of these areas. And then we can get to the weathering. Probably only do like one coat up here because the colors underneath kind of give it a bit of a weathered look too. So I'm not gonna go too crazy with the white. Just make it so it doesn't look like I just got a bunch of paint all over it. So these like gray areas, they have like an outline in black. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm trying to find my finest tip brush, which I need to upgrade, but I think I can make it work. just going to do an outline of black here and here. And that needs to dry a little more. That's not doing very well. I think I can do it over here. And I also had lines here. I might add those. I've seen some without, with lines, some without, like inside this gray area. But let's give it a shot. It's pretty thick. Oh. And a line there. It's good enough. Not perfect, but it'll do. That'll do for now. I'll touch them up later. Okay, so I just mixed up a little bit of black wash here. It's just black and some water, black acrylic paint. And what I want to do is go into these cracks with that wash and give it some depth. So let's do that. It's pretty thick. Might need to add more water. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more water to it. Try that again. So yeah, I just want to get into those cracks. That's too thin. Oh, no, there we go. That works. Just need to keep it a little wetter. But might as well get some on the inside too. Take a brush, I pick a towel. Just kind of You see how it's actually kind of getting onto the white itself of the helmet. Sorry, the lighting. Oh, we're good there. Yep. Giving it a bit more of a weathered look on the outside too. So, sometimes you just let the water do the work and just let it run right through there. Okay, still just going through weathering slowly but surely with the black wash here still. Now we're going to try and do the teeth. I want to get the in between the teeth to really pop, you know. So, that's a little better, I think. Between the teeth. Makes the teeth pop a little more. sometimes your fingers just better than any other tool sometimes. You can do this with a bigger brush too. This is just the one I was using at the time. So spread that around. You can just take there. You can just kind of that'll break up some of that blaring white. Okay, so we got it mostly done with the black anyway, weathered with as much black as I want to do for now. Now I'm going to move to a brown. Territorial beige, I guess, is the one I wanted to go with. So I'm going to do a wash of this. I'm going to just water again. Got a little bit of water in there. Like the beige. Mix that up. And, let's see what brush. Actually, let's try the sponge this time. Actually, I'm gonna use this sponge on this one. I'm just gonna kind of go all over here. Not all over, just kind of certain areas, and then work it in. Okay, so there we have it after a brown wash. It's looking pretty cool. Still gotta fix these gray bits. and weather those again, but they need to dry better before I can. And we might, let's see, I kind of want to throw a different color brown on there, or maybe another quick wash of some kind. Let's see. I still got a little bit of the brown I had from the last wash on the skull there, so took the sponge brush and did a couple dabs here, and then a couple dabs with the paper towel, and I kind of like the results, so I'm gonna see if I can do it again without ruining it. Kind of like that. That looks pretty cool. Just gonna do that kind of liberally. And not the whole thing, and just kind of see what happens. I'm just gonna keep doing that to the other side. And there we have it. I think it's pretty much done. A few spots I might touch up, but really happy with how it came out. The only thing I probably would have done different is I would have made that last wash a little darker, because it kind of matches the skull a little bit too much, because it is the same color. But at the same time, it's kind of like, oh, they aged together, possibly, or you could make that argument when it comes to weathering, because definitely far from perfect, but I mean, when you're weathering something, yeah, you kind of want to touch that up, but yeah, hides a little bit of that weight, because I'm out of this wash now, but so far, but fairly not too bad. I mean, learned a few things. I've never weathered a Stormtrooper helmet before, so gave me a pretty good idea of what I want to do next time if I do something like that again. But yeah, that was a fun one, and I'm pretty happy. It looks pretty cool. It'll look cool on the shelf. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, or at least found it somewhat entertaining. And if so, please click that like and subscribe button. Just starting this channel out here. This is my second video, so if you could click that sub button, it's absolutely free. It would do me a big help. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll catch you next time.